Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to solve a 5-mark question from Quadratic Equations chapter which had appeared in CBSE board exam 2025. Now this question has an OR question as well. That is, either you can attempt the A question or the B one. So let us start with the first question now. There is a circular park of diameter 65 meters as shown in the following figure, where AB is the diameter. An entry gate is to be constructed at point P on the boundary of the park such that the distance of P from A is 35 meters more than the distance of point P from B. Find the distance of point P from point A and point B respectively. So here we have been given a circular park whose diameter is given as AB and the length of AB is given as 65 meters. Now, an entry gate needs to be constructed at point P in such a way that the distance of point P from point A is 35 meters more than the distance of point P from B. So here let us consider that the distance of point P from point B is going to be x meters. Then the distance of point A from point P is going to be 35 meters more. Now remember that more is a keyword representing the operation addition. So here the distance of point A from point P is 35 meters more than the distance of point P from point B. So here we are going to write 35 meters, that is 35 plus the distance of point P from point B, that is x meters. And the length of AB is given as 65 meters. So here we need to find out the distance of point P from point B and point A. So let us reconsider this figure over here. So here we have written, let the distance of point P from point B be equal to x meters. Then the distance of point P from point A is equal to x plus 35 or 35 plus x meters. And the diameter is given as 65 meters. Now here, remember that the diameter is always going to make a 90-degree angle at any point which is present on the semicircle. Now P is a point which is on the semicircle and we have drawn an angle from point A and point B. So the angle made at point P will be 90 degrees. So this is one of the most important circle theorems. So remember this. Now once we have done this, triangle APB becomes a right-angled triangle. And since this is a right-angled triangle, we can use the Pythagoras theorem over here. So here we have written using the Pythagoras theorem. Now in this triangle, AB represents the hypotenuse because the hypotenuse is always opposite to the 90-degree angle. And here 90 degrees is formed at point P. So here AB square hypotenuse square will be equal to sum of the square of rest two sides. That is PB square plus AP square. Now the value of AB we have here is 65. So we have written 65 square is equal to, now here PB is x. So we have written x square plus AP is 35 plus x or x plus 35 the whole square. Now in the next step we have expanded this equation. That is 65 square we get here is 4225 is equal to x square plus, now to expand this bracket, we have made use of a plus b the whole square formula. Hence, this expands as 35 square plus 2 times 35 times x plus x square. Now further simplifying this equation, we get 4225 is equal to x square plus 35 square gives us 1225 plus 2 times 35 is 70. And 70 times x gives us 70x plus x square. Now in the next step, we have collected the like terms. That is x square plus x square gives us 2x square plus 70x plus 1225. And we have taken this number on the other side of equal to sign, giving us minus 4225 equal to 0. Now simplifying it, we get 2x square plus 70x. Now the difference between these two numbers gives us minus 3000 equal to 0. Now here all the three terms are divisible by 2. So we are going to divide 2x square by 2, 70x by 2 and minus 3000 by 2 and 0 also by 2. So here we get our equation as x square plus 35x minus 1500 equal to 0. Now we have to factorize this equation. So we have to multiply the coefficient of x square, that is 1, with the constant, that is negative 1500. So that gives us negative 1500. Now we have to find out two factors of negative 1500 in such a way that their product should give us negative 1500 and their subtraction or addition should give us positive 35. So here we have considered the two factors as 60 and minus 25, because when you multiply them you get minus 1500 and when you add them or subtract them you get positive 35. Now we are going to group the terms, that is we are going to group the first two terms and the last two terms. Now from the first group x is a common factor, so we have taken it out and inside the bracket remains x plus 60. Now from the second group, negative 25 is a common factor, so we have taken it out and inside the bracket remains x plus 60 equal to 0. Now from this equation, x plus 60 is a common factor, so we have taken it out over here and the second factor becomes x minus 25 equal to 0. Now we are going to equate each of these factors equal to 0, giving us x minus 25 equal to 0 and x plus 60 equal to 0. Now taking on the other side of equal to sign, we get the value of x as 25 and similarly taking positive 60 on the other side of equal to sign, we get the value of x as negative 60. Now here x represents the distance, so it cannot be a negative value. So we are going to discard this value of x and consider only 25. So here the distance of point P from B is equal to x meters, which is 25 meters, and the distance of point P from point A was x plus 35 meters. So here we have written 25 plus 35 giving us 60 meters. So these are the distances of the entry gate from point A and point B. Find the smallest value of P for which the quadratic equation x square minus 2 times P plus 1 times x plus P square equal to 0 has real roots. Hence find the roots of the equation so obtained. So here we have been given a quadratic equation in terms of P and it has been given that the nature of the roots of this quadratic equation is real. So first of all we need to find out the smallest value of P using this hint and then substitute its value in this equation to get a new equation and then find out the roots of that new equation formed. So let us begin by writing the discriminant formula for a quadratic equation having real roots. So here we have written down the equation again and the general form of quadratic equation is given as ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. And for real roots, the discriminant is given as b square minus 4ac should be greater than or equal to 0. Now once we have got this, to find out the values of a, b and c, we are going to compare the general form of the quadratic equation with the given equation. So here the value of a will be equal to 1 because both are coefficients of x square. So here we have written a equal to 1. Now the value of b is going to be negative 2 times p plus 1 because both are coefficient of x, and the value of c is going to be equal to p square because both are constants. So here in place of b square we have written minus 2 times p plus 1 the whole square minus 4 times, now a is equal to 1 times c is equal to p square is greater than or equal to 0. Now here this power 2 gets distributed to negative 2 as well as p plus 1. So here negative 2 gets squared giving us positive 4. So here we have written 4 times. Now this bracket p plus 1 also gets squared, and to expand this bracket we have made use of a plus b the whole square formula. So here this bracket expands as p square plus 2 times p times 1 plus 1 square, and 1 square gives us 1 minus 4 times 1 is 4 and 4 times p square is 4p square greater than or equal to 0. Now further simplifying this we get 4 times p square plus 2 times 1 is 2 and 2 times p is 2p plus 1 minus 4p square is greater than or equal to 0. Now let us expand this bracket, that is 4 multiplies with p square giving us 4p square, 4 multiplies with positive 2p giving us positive 8p, 4 multiplies with positive 1 giving us positive 4, minus 4p square is greater than or equal to 0. Now here 4p square subtracts or cancels minus 4p square, giving us 8p plus 4 is greater than or equal to 0. Now let us take positive 4 on the other side of equal to sign. So we get 8p is greater than or equal to, now positive 4 becomes negative 4. And now we are going to take 8 on the other side of equal to sign, giving us p is greater than or equal to negative 4 over 8. Now here 4 and 8 go in the table of 4. So here we get 4 1 times is 4 and 4 2 times is 8. So here we get the value of p as greater than or equal to negative 1 over 2. But in the question we had been asked to find out the smallest value of p. So the smallest value of p is going to be minus 1 over 2. So here we have written, therefore the smallest value of p is minus 1 over 2. Now once we have got this value of p, we have to substitute in the given quadratic equation and get a new equation. So here we have reconsidered the equation which was given in the question, that was x square minus 2 times p plus 1 times x plus p square equal to 0. Now wherever we have p, we are going to substitute negative 1 over 2 over there. So here we get x square minus 2 times, now in place of p we have written minus 1 over 2 plus 1 times x plus p square. So in place of p we have written minus 1 over 2 the whole square equal to 0. Now here for this bracket we are going to take a common denominator. So we are going to divide this 1 by 1 and multiply the numerator and denominator by 2. So here 1 gets multiplied by 2 and 1 also gets multiplied by 2. So here this equation simplifies as x square minus 2. Now here in the numerator minus 1 plus 2 gives us plus 1 over a common denominator, that is 2, times x plus, now minus 1 square becomes plus 1 and 2 square becomes 4 equal to 0. Now here 2 divides itself, that is 2 1 times is 2 and 2 1 times is 2. So this equation simplifies as x square minus 1x or just x plus 1 over 4 equal to 0. Now here let us take a common denominator, that is x square can be written as x square over 1 and negative x can be written as negative x over 1. Now we are going to multiply x square by 4 and 1 also by 4, that is this denominator, and similarly x will get multiplied by 4 and 1 also gets multiplied by 4. So here our equation becomes 4 times x square gives us 4x square minus 4 times x gives us 4x plus 1 over a common denominator which is 4 equal to 0. Now here 4 goes on the other side of equal to sign and multiplies with 0, simplifying this equation as 4x square minus 4x plus 1 equal to 0. Now we have to factorize this equation, that is we are going to multiply the coefficient of x square which is 4 with the constant which is 1 giving us 4. So here we need to find out two factors of 4 in such a way that when you multiply them you should get 4 and when you add them or subtract them you should get negative 4. So here the two factors which satisfies this condition are minus 2 and minus 2, because minus 2 times minus 2 gives us plus 4 and minus 2 added with minus 2 gives us minus 4. Now let us group the terms. We are going to group the first two terms and we are going to group the last two terms. So from the first group we get 2x as a common factor, so we have taken it out and inside the bracket remains 2x minus 1. And from the second group minus 1 is a common factor, so we have taken it out and inside the bracket remains 2x minus 1 equal to 0. Now here 2x minus 1 is a common factor, so we have taken it out and the second factor becomes 2x minus 1 equal to 0. Now equating each of these factors equal to 0, we get 2x minus 1 equal to 0 and 2x minus 1 equal to 0. Now taking minus 1 on the other side of equal to sign, we get 2x equal to positive 1 and taking 2 on the other side of equal to sign, we get the value of x as 1 over 2. Similarly, here also we get the value of x as 1 over 2. So these are the values of the roots of the quadratic equation which we have got over here by the substitution of smallest value of p. I hope you have understood all the steps and liked the video. And if you found this video useful, then check out this playlist where you'll find more examples of this kind. And if you're liking my videos, like, share and subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.